Perks Recap Emergency Yankee Podcast. Stress on the urgency because they don't have any. How can you lose all three of these games, get smoked 12-1, put on a straight face in these press conferences, and act like nothing's wrong? Act like you're still a good team. Act like you're not making errors left and right. Talking about Volpe has been good for the last couple of weeks on defense. Are you kidding me? He threw behind the runner at second and didn't get him just a couple days ago. And then today he had another throwing error. He's got 17 errors. 17! And he's out there every day because the Yankees are the most stubborn franchise in sports. We know better than you, and we're going to prove it. No matter how hard, how bad it gets, we're going to stick with it. We stuck with Aaron Hicks for way too long. We stuck with DJ LeMahieu for way too long. We're sticking with Anthony Volpe at shortstop when he should be in the minors. And then their approach. They don't change the approach. Guy on second, they're just swinging for the fences. Nobody's trying to move the runner over. Oh, no. Guy in second, no outs or one out. There's no inkling of someone moving the runner over. I know there's certain situations where you don't need to, but a lot of situations you do. Boston hit one home run today. And the Yankees' philosophy is home runs are nothing, basically home runs are bust, because everybody's swinging for the fences. The Red Sox hit one home run and scored 12 runs. 12 runs, one homer. They went the other way. They went with pitches. They put bat on ball, put pressure on the defense, and when you pressure this defense, it falters. You got a starting pitcher on the mound. Granted, he just got to the team, but it doesn't matter. The first baseman's not on first, and he tries a pickoff throw, and there's nobody there. How's that possible? You keep hearing the defense is going to get better. It's almost September. When is it going to get better? You keep hearing the fundamentals will come around. It's almost September. There's no fundamentals. Dominguez throws the ball to third base when the guy's on first, tagging up, getting to second. You're supposed to throw to second to keep the double play in order. He throws to third, the guy gets to second, no double play. It's amazing. It is truly, truly amazing that they act as though they are something they're not, or something they used to be. They're resting on their laurels of getting to the World Series last year, and I won't take that away from them, but let's be honest. That was a relatively easy road. The American League as a whole was down, and they had to go through basically the AL Central for whatever reason. This part I don't get. They seem to play really well against the AL Central. I will say that. For some reason, the AL Central comes around and the Yankees can beat them. But that's who they had to go through. You can't choose your opponents. The AL was down, and then you go to the World Series and you get embarrassed. And now you're coming through this year. Defensive problems are still abound. All the problems that I've been talking about are still there. They mask them at times, and you know what's going to happen the rest of this year. I'll tell you what's going to happen the rest of this year. The Yankees will probably sneak into the playoffs as the number 3 seed, or the number 3 wild card, because they're going to fatten up against bad teams, because that's what they do. They're going to fatten up enough to get to the 3rd wild card and then get eliminated in the first round. Get eliminated with the first game. Is it a 1 game anymore? No, it's 3 games, I think. Whatever it is, the first opponent they have in the playoffs, they're going to lose. They're going to get eliminated because they're not good. They're not just not great. They're not good. They're mediocre at best. There's a mediocre team, and yet every day you hear from Boone or Cash or whoever, you hear from the upper management of how great it is. And we got to the World Series last year. We believe in these guys. It's September. It's almost September. When is the record going to change? When are you gonna admit some things? Admit some truths to yourselves. Admit that Volpe's not there, not gonna get there, or at least not there this year. Admit that you got 4 DHs basically. That's another thing. How are you gonna get everybody these at bats? If Judge can't come back in the outfield, even if you do give him some at bats, or even if you do get him to the outfield, you're still juggling catching and first base and Ben Rice and Goldschmidt and it's just maddening. And Jazz Chisholm, I did not realize how bad he is late in games from like the 7th inning on. He's batting something like 112. And when he goes up there late in games, all he is trying to do is hit a home run. Every swing is a big swing. And that's all a lot of these guys try to do. And that is a philosophical problem with the Yankees. They are too heavily on the analytics, and they're too heavily in the sabermetrics and all that other stuff, and going by what the iPad tells them to do instead of going with the gut, hitting the ball, making contact with the ball first and foremost, and hitting the other way, moving runners over. They don't do any of that. None of it. And any team that does that and has some good power and can be a good team overall is going to destroy them. And that's all you're going to see in the playoffs because the AL is not nearly as weak as it was last year. Houston's good. The Red Sox are good. Toronto's good. You honestly think the Yankees can go through those 3 teams and get to the World Series? No chance. They're either not going to make the playoffs or they're going to sneak in as the last wild card and get smoked. That's exactly what's going to happen. And you know what, too? Boone and Cashman will be back. They will be back. If they don't make the playoffs, we might get a change. Maybe. But where's the team meetings? Where's the players-only meetings? Where's Hal coming into the clubhouse and holding a meeting? Where's Cashman? Remember when George, I don't like this when people say George is rolling over in his grave or I want George back. It wasn't all peaches and roses with George either. Let's not forget the 80s. They didn't win anything in the 80s at all. And in the 90s, the only time they got good is when he got suspended, when he got thrown out of baseball for a little while, and Stick Michael built a winner for him. But he would get angry. He did care, and he showed the fans that he cared. Hal says he cares, this, that, but you don't see him that often. George was there front and center a lot. He would wear his emotions on his sleeve, show how much he cared. He would fire people left and right, probably too much, but at least fire somebody when it matters. You wouldn't, Boone. If Boone was there when George was around, he would have been gone after like 2 years, maybe 3, at the most. Not this long. There's no way he would still be there. But he would come into the clubhouse, and when he did, it struck fear into the players. It was an oh crap moment. It was an oh bleep moment where he came in and he kind of put the hammer down on them if he wasn't happy with what they were doing. Joe Torre used to do it as well. The hammer would come down. There'd be closed door meetings. There'd be players only meetings. There'd be things when people were getting frustrated. There'd be people throwing things. Where's that kind of passion? Where's the guy who's going into the clubhouse and just trashes it out of anger? We don't have any of those guys because everybody's getting smoke blown up their ass. This is absolutely ridiculous. This team is such a disappointment, and the problem is it's not going to change. If they make the playoffs, and I think they probably still will, and sneak in, Cashman and Boone will be back. Now, I have not been a huge proponent of firing Boone in the past, and the reason why is because they have a specific type of guy that they want to be manager, or Cashman wants to be manager. If Cashman stays and Boone goes, it's not going to change a damn thing. And the reason why is because they're not going to hire somebody who can think for himself, somebody who doesn't go by the analytics as much. They're going to hire somebody who's in line with that, who's going to listen to the analytics, who's good with the press, who's good with the players, plays nice with the players, nicey nice, and doesn't yell and doesn't scream. They're going to hire Aaron Boone again. It's just going to be by a different name. It's going to be the same guy. That's what they're going to hire because that's what they want. And again, it's about them being stubborn. They think that's the way to go. And it hasn't worked at all. You get to one World Series on a weak year, and when you get there, you get embarrassed. Other years, you get embarrassed. You go to Boston for a one-game playoff, get embarrassed. You go to Houston for ALCSs, you get embarrassed. You get swept. And you're about to get swept again by Boston right now, 4 straight days. It's going to happen. Tomorrow, you know they're losing that game. And even if they pull it off, who cares? They're gonna go get to Washington, and they're gonna go to all these weak teams, fatten up. They have that tough stretch that I've been talking about, where it's like Toronto and Houston and Boston and a few other tough teams are mixed in there for like 2 weeks, a 2-3 week stretch, and they'll probably lose most of them. They'll win like 3 or 4 of those games and almost fall out of it, and then they end the season with like 3 or 4 straight series of cupcakes, and they'll get in. And that's exactly what's going to happen, and then they're going to get smoked. I had a rant. I'm sorry, but I needed to get that off my chest. I may or may not do the podcast tomorrow for the recap of the entire series in detail like I normally do, but I will be back regardless for the next one. I will continue to do these podcasts. This is a hell of a year that I started to do this. It's been a roller coaster, and I think we've hit rock bottom, but I don't know. I want to see changes. If it's rock bottom, there should be changes. Volpe should be sent down or at least benched. Dominguez, you're done playing the outfield. You're a pinch runner. That's it. Done. Rice, you're the starting catcher every day. Oh, my God. What a disaster. Okay. Until next time.